Hi, I'm Dr. Lawrence Woods, and a very common question I get is, why do I feel so tired after I sit for a while? And so you get a lot of people calling in or coming in as patients, and they're saying, geez, I go to work, and after a few hours, I just feel exhausted. Well, let me explain to you why this is and what you can do to correct this. So I'm going to start with why sitting makes you tired by going through just a little bit of anatomy. So we have a tube of bones here. Let's call it the spine, okay? And on top of here, at the top of this two bones, we have the brain. And the brain, let's think of the brain as a computer for your body. It sends messages through this tube of bones, and the messages go through every organ, every cell, every tissue in your body, and then comes back, loops back to your brain, and keeps it. That's what gets you to eat and talk and walk across the room and whatever, right? And so it's the most important thing in your body is your brain spinal cord because it controls the function of everything else in your body, right? And so ideally, you should have a neck curve, mid-back curve, and low back curve, okay? And if we do an imaginary line, if you're standing, the ears, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the ankles, all should line up, and the spine should be like a coil or spring. Now, let's take a closer look. Between these bones are these little discs or pads. We call them discs, and they are movable. And between these bones are nerves, and these nerves, again, go to every organ, every cell, every tissue. So let's play a little game here. Imagine this. Now this is awful, but we're playing a game. Imagine if the brain's gone. Does this person live or die? Well, that's a stupid question. Of course they're going to die, right? But okay, so let's take a little further. This nerve here goes to the heart. Now, if I cut that nerve off, is this person going to live or die? Well, obviously they're going to die. But the question is, why would they die? And the answer is, yeah, you got it, because the brain controls the function of the body, and if you cut the nerve off, there's no messages going to or from the brain to the heart, and you're gone, right? But what if we don't cut that nerve off? What if we take a nerve? Let's say this one here, around here, T5, T6 goes to your stomach. Let's say if this tube of bones, let's say you're sitting in bed posture and you're hunching forward here like this, and these bones start to twist and they start choking that nerve. It's kind of like a dimmer switch in your house, right? And you start hitting that dimmer switch and it starts decreasing the function of that nerve. And let's say that nerve, in this case, goes to your stomach. Is your stomach going to be good or bad? Or going to be effective or ineffective? Right? Obviously, it won't be at its optimal potential, right? And so a lot of times when people sit in a position, and we all sit like this, at 90 degrees at the knees and 90 degrees at the hips, we kind of slouch forward. The head goes forward, and the spine loses its natural S curve, and it goes into the C curve. And instead of hinging on the muscles, your core muscles, the muscles of your butt, your hamstrings, your quads, you're hinging on your butt bones and your backbone. And so we hinge like this all day long. But I want you to think about this. What's going on a deeper level at the spine? As your head goes forward, the spinal cord's pulling up, the nerve roots are creating tension, and let's say if you're reaching for the mouse, you're creating rotation, and you're pinching on those nerves all the way down in your spine. Now those nerves, again, go to your organs and your cells. And your body, we found, through surface EMG and other kind of tests, we found when people sit in this kind of posture for long periods of time, they create muscle and nerve irritation, and that creates your body actually goes into what they call a fight or flight mode or sympathetic mode. So your muscles feel really stiff and sore, you're tight, and it's kind of like your car's on a hill, your foot's on the clutch and the accelerator, but you're really not going anywhere, you're just burning up all day long. So you're burning all this energy sitting in this bad posture all day long, but you're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything. So let me show you what you should do to get your spine healthy in alignment, and so you have a lot more energy. So here's the goal. We found that if we can get the individual who's tired all the time when sitting out of this posture where the head's translating forward, the spine's going to the C curve, and they're loading their discs and their nerves, if we can just tilt that pelvis forward. Now watch what happens. When we tilt the pelvis forward to emulate almost as if you're standing, watch what happens to the head. The head comes right back. Okay, and then the spine goes from a C curve to an S curve. Well, do you think those nerves are happy or sad at this point? They're much happier, right? And so there's, look, the body doesn't need much help, it just needs no interference. And so what we want to do when you're sitting is to remove as much interference as possible so you have tons of energy, tons of vitality, and you feel less tired. And so the way we do this is we found that if you sit with your hips above your knees, let me show you what happens. As I sit with my hips above my knees, automatically that tilts the pelvis forward. I'm engaging the muscles. I can feel my ab muscles. I can feel my hamstrings, my quads, my butt muscles are engaged. I'm dispersing my weight into my muscles. But if you look at my spine, my ears are over my shoulders, my hips, and my muscles, my back is much more relaxed. So if my back is relaxed, my spine is relaxed. If my spine is relaxed, my nerves are relaxed. If my nerves are relaxed, my organs and cells are relaxed. And so I'm going to have much more energy. So what you want to do when you're sitting is you want to make sure your hips are above your knees. That way you disperse your weight into your muscles and not into your spine. folks, listen, this is probably why you're tired, okay? Hips above your knees, always when you're sitting. And so let me go through what you should look for if you're going to do this. So when I discovered this phenomena with seating for people, especially people who are sitting all day and feeling really tired, we went to the market and we tried to find out what's out there that we can get for people. And we ordered just about everything on Amazon or Alibaba, AliExpress. And what we found was most of it was made, statistically all of it was made from either polyurethane or memory foam. In other words, it was made from plastic. And I had a couple problems with it. At first I was excited for it, but then it didn't really work out too well because first of all, it's hot. People can sit and get very hot. But the big problem is it's not really good if you're tired all the time because you're not going to have it's not going to create the alignment that you need for your spine. And so because with these cheaper foams, they just bottom out. And it's kind of like sitting on a kitchen sponge. And so we started looking at other materials. When we finally hit natural latex, we hit it out of the park. It was the greatest thing we ever found. It is the best material on the planet for people who want to maintain good posture and sit comfortably. And so what I recommend is your seat cushion should have 2 layers. The bottom layer should be a high density foam that doesn't give in. So you maintain that angle. You don't want to foam bottoming out. You don't want it too hot, okay? The top layer should be a soft, natural latex. And if it's engineered right, you're sitting on like a dream, okay? Because your body's, the bony prominences of your hips sink in. You're maintaining that pelvic tilt forward, but you're comfortable because the natural latex pushes back and has that springiness, and so you feel like you're suspended in animation. The cover is really important to get this right. We use a vegan leather, and it needs to stretch in 4 dimensions for obvious reasons. If it doesn't stretch, it doesn't matter what's underneath, whatever you have in there, it's not going to work. So in order for the 2 foams to work, you have to have a 4-dimensional stretch material that grips, okay? Because you don't want to be sliding down. And you don't want the seat cushion to slide because if it moves when you're sitting, or even a centimeter, it's going to change the pelvic floor angles, and you're going to have problems with that. So, and you want to be able to take it with you anywhere, okay? Because if you're feeling a little tired all the time, imagine driving home. You want to make sure, think about it. When you're in your car, you want to feel energized. I find if I sit on this, I feel much more alert, much more awake because I'm not loading my spine. I'm loading my muscles. I just feel much better when I arrive. So it's good at the office, good in the car, good airplanes, works everywhere. So that's what it is. And so and it's not always the case. I mean, you could have a medical condition, but I'm strictly talking here biomechanical.